You know how Apple does this thing where they talk about the future of computing and that it's the iPad? Tim Cook made a big deal out of it, and it pissed a lot of people off. It doesn't take too many YouTube comments in any video tangentially touching on Apple or the iPad to find the inevitable, you can't do real work on an iPad comment. Now look, I understand some of you watching are probably rolling your eyes right now as you watch this on your high-end desktop computer with mechanical keyboard and a bunch of fancy peripherals that can run 3D programs and games that no iPad's ever going to dream of. What I'm trying to say is that I don't want to be that guy you'd see at Starbucks who sneers when you pull out your Razer Blade or other powerful, big, and heavy laptop. I myself, own a custom-built desktop too, and game and work in programs like Adobe Premiere, Illustrator, and lots of other software. I think it's important to consider, though, that this iPad thing is kind of more than just a hipster toy, although for many people it probably is, and that's fine for them. I don't judge you, unless you're in video. Anyways, I'm typing the script up because believe it or not, I'm not some improv genius, although I know it comes off that way. I'm typing this script on an iPad Pro with the keyboard attachment. And, I think the iPad Pro is really cool for certain things. I'm terrible at drawing, but I like to mess around in apps like Paper and Procreate with the Apple Pencil. And yes, the iPad Pro runs iOS, which, isn't as expansive as a desktop OS, and you can only have two apps on the screen at a time, and it's very limited because walled garden, Apple, blah, blah. We all know that story. That can be frustrating sometimes for someone like me, kind of, I guess, more of a prosumer user, but for the things that I actually can do on this, I love it, because these limits actually help me concentrate and work harder on whatever it is I'm doing. Believe it or not, you can make some pretty kick-ass illustrations or even design websites with apps like Coda and Procreate on an iPad, and that's pretty cool. I mean, of course, I can't do that, but, people with talent, that's something they can do. And before someone accuses me of worshipping Apple or whatever it is that they do, I want to clarify something. What I'm saying applies that a tablet is a general device category and not just the iPad. The reason I'm mentioning the iPad so much right now is, one, because I own it, and two, because I think it's because of how many people use iOS, and as a result, how many developers make stuff for it. I think the iPad's the best tablet when it comes to productivity, and in the public's mind, probably the first thing they think of when they think of a tablet. That's just the way it is. And before someone mentions the Surface, let me say I love the Surface too. I think it's a really cool machine. But let's be real, it's a laptop, not a tablet. For better or worse, it runs Windows, which makes it more comparable to a full-fledged laptop or desktop than a tablet running a mobile OS. I mean, a Surface is really cool, I think, and it can do a lot of cool stuff, but it really is a laptop-type experience, which means you can do lots of stuff you can't do on an iPad, but it's not really meant to be a tablet. Anyhow, I don't want to make this too long and ranty. Hopefully all the angry people who, will have inevitably disliked this video and written comments by now probably will hopefully have tuned out, so everyone left watching, hopefully you're all reasonable people. Basically, I love the iPad for the few things it can do for me, and those few things are very essential, because it does those things excellently, and I also, as a student, realize its usefulness to me as a note-taking device with the keyboard and pencil attachments. And I realize it's not the most economical option because it definitely isn't for everybody. But for those who can spend $1,100 on the good model with lots of storage and a keyboard and pencil, it actually compares pretty favorably to lots of laptops in that price range when you're considering stuff like note-taking, web browsing, illustrating, even stuff like lightweight video editing and programming. That's not to mention it also makes, believe it or not, like a kick-ass Netflix machine, or just for watching TV in general. I actually find that I actually use it basically as my personal TV now because the speakers and screen on it are pretty awesome. So I think you're getting, like I said, the awesome speakers. It has like 4 of them. No performance hiccups because it runs iOS. Really nice screen, beefy specs. The build quality is great because it's Apple. And I mean, that's not to say I love Apple, but some Apple products like this I really like, and I think the iPad Pro is one of them. So basically, the point of this video is, I don't know, for you watching who, those of you watching who hate the iPad Pro, maybe it probably didn't change your opinion, but like those of you who are on the fence or just wondering what exactly it is, I just hope I kind of helped out with that, because I've had mine for a year at this point, and I really think it's been an important device in my life, because for the things that it can do for me, it's awesome, and it honestly does feel like the future of computing, even though that sounds really snobby and stupid. I think it's kind of true in some ways. Like, it's an awesome drawing tablet, it's an awesome media consumption device, and it's an awesome note-taking device, and some other stuff too. Yeah, I mean, the future is here. But not that SpongeBob future, though, because I don't think the iPad runs the full version of Chrome.